Hey folks, this one's been in the making for the past 4 months or so. The guy you see up there is FBI Director James Comey, and his butt is going to be on a rather warm seat. The Inspector General, which is an independent office in the Department of Justice, is now going to investigate him for his actions in dealing with Hillary Clinton's emails and the fact that he violated written policy of the FBI for their investigative process. In case you didn't know it, the FBI has a written policy that prohibits any employee of the FBI making a statement regarding a candidate for political office within 60 days of an election. They further have a policy about commenting on an investigation that has been closed with the finding of no wrongdoing or criminal prosecution. Mr. Comey violated both of those policies. Number one, after he had finished his investigation, he should have never issued a public statement other than the fact that he had an investigation on Hillary Clinton's emails and the investigation is closed. That's all he should have said. But no, he decides that he's going to go and testify in front of Congress, and he did not have to do that. Okay, that's number one. So after he gets up there in front of Congress and makes a fool of himself in front of the entire nation, 11 days before the election, they come across Weiner's dick pics on a laptop that was shared by his wife, Uma Abedin, and they see, I guess, some emails from or to Hillary Clinton, because he and the wife shared the laptop. So instead of getting a subpoena to go through the laptop to see what was there, no, he decides, because of his testimony in front of Congress, that he's going to notify them that he's reopening, and actually it wasn't even reopening because it hadn't been officially closed, but he decides that he's reopening the investigation because of what may or may not be on a laptop. 3 days before the election, he then turns around, and obviously they use manpower like you wouldn't believe in order to go through the entire laptop. 3 days before the election, he comes back and says, nothing to see here. This prick violated written policies, and now hopefully his feet are going to be held to the fire. It is ridiculous for this man to have known what the actions and policies of the FBI were, and not to have followed those policies. They're there for a reason. So you can say what you want. And again, I am not a Hillary Clinton fan. But between the Russians hacking in and utilizing WikiLeaks to go after her, and this guy issuing statements that he didn't need to issue, you cannot tell me that at least with these two items didn't have a significant effect on her chances to be elected. Now again, she screwed up. She didn't go to Wisconsin. She didn't go to Michigan. She didn't spend enough time in Pennsylvania. She didn't fight hard in Florida. She didn't fight hard in Ohio. She bears a bunch of the blame here. Not to mention the fact that she should have gotten that email situation cleared up more than a year ago. She should have come to Jesus, admitted what she admitted, gave up whatever the hell she gave up before she made her announcement to run, so that all of this stuff would have gone by the wayside. But that being said, that's a lot of weight for her to have to swim uphill against, the FBI being against her, and Russia utilizing WikiLeaks to be against her, and then you got Donald Trump, who's total prick. But it is what it is. Hopefully, the Inspector General, who nobody is going to be able to say a word against, comes out with a report that skewers this guy as far as his involvement, and I do mean involvement, in the political process, where policy dictated that he not get involved by issuing statements, letters, etc., because, as I stated earlier, policy dictated that he not become involved in the political process. James Comey, you are a piece of crap, and I still to this day believe that you were politically motivated to do what you did.
Expressed by people who are not part of the investigation, including people in government. But none of that mattered to us. Opinions are irrelevant. And they were all uninformed by insight into our investigation, because we did our investigation the right way.
Welcome back to Harvard. That was, of course, FBI Director James Comey back in July announcing his decision not to prosecute Secretary Hillary Clinton. At that time, the director came under intense scrutiny for that and his surprise decision to release, just 11 days before this election, a letter to Congress announcing that the agency's decision to review emails relating to Clinton's case continued. Anyway, today the Inspector General at the Department of Justice announced that he is launching a broad review of how the FBI handled that investigation of Hillary's emails. In a statement, the IG, Micah Horowitz, wrote, quote, "In response to requests from numerous chairmen and ranking members of congressional oversight committees, various organizations and members of the public, the Office of Inspector General will initiate a review of allegations regarding certain actions by the Department of Justice and the Federal Bureau of Investigation in advance of the 2016 election." While Director Comey has refused to comment on this decision to address the Clinton case, just yesterday while briefing a Senate panel on Russian hacking, Comey had this interesting exchange with Senator Angus King of Maine.
Especially in a public forum, we never confirm or deny a pending investigation.
The
irony of your making that statement here, I cannot avoid, but I'll move on.
Well, he said, he did cite it, didn't he? The fact that Comey won't talk about an investigation, which he did a few days before the election, about Hillary Clinton. Anyway, Director Comey did respond to the news of the review in a written statement. He said, "This is Comey. I am grateful to the Department of Justice's IG for taking on this review. He is professional and independent, and the FBI will cooperate fully with him in his office. I hope very much he's able to share his conclusions and observations with the public, because everyone will benefit from thoughtful evaluation and transparency regarding this matter." For more on this development.
All right, so again, this one, yeah, I mean, it doesn't take much on this one to call balls and strikes. This guy screwed up. This guy definitely had an issue, and an independent investigator is going to decide whether this guy, if he still has a job, all right, is going to be sanctioned. Because remember, unlike the Attorney General, et cetera, the FBI director served on I think it's a 6-year term, and he just got the re-up 2 years ago. So it's not like the president absolutely can't fire him, but you got to have a lot of ammunition in order to fire the FBI director. This might be enough ammunition if Trump wants to get rid of him to let him go.